What's up, everybody? Good late afternoon. I know I'm a little bit late on this. I didn't see this until basically just now. I was having some dental work done this morning. Take care of your teeth, kids. And when I got home, I just wanted to sleep because that's what happens when you have dental work done. You takes it out of you. So I slept right through all this stuff that went down this afternoon. So unfortunate, but we're just a few hours late, so not the end of the world. But let's go ahead and talk about the things that have happened over the last several hours here because it's pretty substantial. It's pretty notable, and we've learned a decent amount about what the Seahawks are going to look like in 2024 here. So first thing that's happened, and this is the most concrete Seahawks affecting thing, is that the Seahawks have their new defensive coordinator. Aden Durde, the Cowboys defensive line coach, formerly, is going to be your new defensive coordinator. I already made a video talking about Aden Durde a little bit, but he's got a background under Dan Quinn these last 6 years. He's been the Cowboys defensive line coach for three. And during that time, you have to acknowledge most of the work is very impressive. He's helped develop Micah Parsons into one of the most dangerous players in the NFL. He's done great work with a guy like Odigizua. And you'd also throw in a guy like DeMarcus Lawrence, who's been fantastic the last few years after. I'd go as recently as 2020. You wondered if maybe he was on the tail end of his career. And he's been fantastic over the last 3 years under Quinn and Durde. So great stuff the last 3 years. The previous 3 years, he was in Atlanta under Dan Quinn. Not quite so notable results there, I guess, but that was obviously maybe a personnel issue. If you take a look at the issues they had with Thomas Dimitroff during that time of drafting and bringing in talent. So I don't know how much you hold that against him. But Aden Durde is your new Seahawks defensive coordinator. Now, I don't know how much the defensive coordinator is going to do here in Seattle. We have Mike Macdonald as your head coach, and he's calling plays defensively. So we're not going to have a play caller in a DC. And we also know that we have Leslie Frazier here as the assistant head coach, and he is very experienced in defensive coordinator type duties, even if he's not ours. And he's far more experienced a coach than Aden Durde. So it does make you wonder what Aden Durde is going to do now that he's here. But I assume there's some responsibility here, however minor, that he is going to occupy. So welcome to Seattle, Aden Durde. I will admit that I liked the resume of Joe Cullen a little bit more, but I also understand that a guy like Joe Cullen is probably going to be looking to go a place that doesn't have so much in front of him that his voice won't be heard. Like, if a guy like Joe Cullen goes to Seattle and he's behind McDonald and Frazier, that's tough. That may not be what he's looking to do. A guy like Aden Durde, on the other hand, he's just happy to have DC in his resume, even if it's not the most impactful DC out there. So, seems like a pretty good hire to me, although there isn't much the Seahawks could have done at this position that would have bothered me. So, next item on the list here from Greg Bell on X, Chip Kelly off the board. Chip Kelly leaving UCLA to be an offensive coordinator, but not the offensive coordinator in Seattle, the offensive coordinator at Ohio State, the Buckeyes. Now, I know there are going to be a lot of people in my comments who are relieved about this because they really didn't like the idea of Chip Kelly. I was kind of excited for the idea. I recognize it can go wrong. I recognize there's some real risk here. I recognize the potential problems. But there was a lot I thought was worth being excited over when it came to having Chip Kelly as your offensive coordinator. So I'm not thrilled about this news. Again, it does reduce the number of alternate jobs available for offensive-minded coaches to take. So we have an even easier time finding the next guy. But personally, I am a little bit, I don't want to say I'm disappointed because for him to take an OC job in college, probably he didn't do too well in the interview with the Seahawks, right? Because we know he interviewed here several days ago and we didn't hire him. And then he took a job as an OC in college, probably means he didn't interview great. So we probably weren't interested at that point. But I was definitely intrigued by the possibility, and now Chip Kelly's off the board. So I don't know. I'm not happy. I'm not necessarily sad. It's just kind of like, that was an interesting opportunity that's now gone. Now, we don't know who the OC is going to be. I will say this. This tweet has been circulating over the last couple of hours. Take the over on X here. Ryan Grubb will be named the offensive coordinator for the Seahawks according to them. This has been getting some traction. Some major Twitter accounts have been retweeting this and saying, I've heard that this is possible, but this Twitter account is probably jumping the gun. We don't know for sure yet, but there could be something here. So this is not in any way, shape, or form something meant to be taken as official. But there is some smoke here. There's definitely some smoke here behind Ryan Grubb. And like I said a couple days ago, what he said when he was speaking in front of those Alabama boosters doesn't necessarily mean it's a wrap. And some people were taking it as a wrap when he said, I'm the new OC for Alabama. But that's not really how it works. If he gets a better job, he will take it. And going into the NFL is, generally speaking, always going to be a better job than the one in college, even a college like Alabama. Now, I've said what I've said about Ryan Grubb. I do have some concerns. He's very experienced play calling, which is great. He's been play calling for a while, but that system is going to need some modification to work in the NFL. So I'm not falling all over myself here. Chip Kelly has had success calling plays at the NFL level before. You cannot say that about Grubb. Grubb hasn't even coached in the NFL before, I don't think. So I do have concerns here, but I also can say that no one has been more successful calling offensive plays over the last 2 years in college football than Grubb. So you have strengths and weaknesses to pretty much any candidate, right? Like with the exception of guys like, I would say, Frank Reich, who we seem very uninterested in, there's always going to be some weaknesses to go with the strengths. So I'm definitely seeing the benefit here of potentially getting a Ryan Grubb. And I'm not down on it. Engstrand is still out there. We could still go get him, I guess. He's a guy with a complete lack of experience, but he's also a guy who has a really good background. And there's a lot of excitement around him potentially being really good in the job. Like he could be the wizard behind Ben Johnson. But I'm still just kind of sitting here. I'm chilling. There's not much the Seahawks can do from the pool of coaches they've looked at that would get me upset. So I'm just chilling, waiting to see who it is, and hoping it works out. One more thing, not that this really matters anymore because we already hired his replacement, but Larry Izzo did find employment under Dan Quinn in Washington with the Commanders. So he is their special teams coordinator going forward, it looks like. And Seattle's moving forward with their guy. We already knew that. So this is not like a loss. He was already gone the moment we hired Harbaugh. But Larry Izzo goes to Washington to coach with the Commanders. And that's it. That's basically what we're looking at right now. So again, sorry I was late on all this, but couldn't be helped. Those root canals take it out of you. All right. See you guys later. Go Hawks. Might be on Twitch later tonight. But if not, I'll see you tomorrow. And quite a bit of Seahawks relevant news cycling through the wire right now.